live build series inside Uplevel CRM. Now, Uplevel is my white label version of GoHighLevel. So if you're already using GoHighLevel or you're looking at using it, then Uplevel CRM is definitely an option, and everything I share here can be applied to your GoHighLevel account. Okay, and today I want to share some of the lesser known and kind of hard to find features, I suppose, inside GoHighLevel or Uplevel. And one of those that's caused some of my clients a lot of frustration is manual payment methods. And I don't know if you know, but you could set up a cash on delivery or bank transfer or any other offline payment method that you want inside your Uplevel CRM or your GoHighLevel account. So today, I just want to show you exactly kind of what that is and how you would set it up. And how it would affect, workflows and things like that. All right. So let's jump on in. Let me share my screen. And from your dashboard, let me just make this a little bigger. Is that a bit better? Yeah, it looks a bit better. Okay, so from your dashboard, you're going to go down. Actually, first off, what do I mean by offline payment method? Okay, so let me show you a quick example. So this is just a dummy page, but you can see here we've got our order form. So it looks pretty standard so far: full name, best email address, the product that they're purchasing, and then the different ways that they can go about that: payment by card, payment by ClearPay, Revolut, whatever the payment options are that you choose for your product. And that will depend slightly on who you're integrating with. I use Stripe, and so there's a plethora of options. Most of these I don't actually have available on our live order forms. And then you can see here they've got the options to enter their card details. Underneath this, we have an option to request an invoice. So if I tick that, it then says we'll send out an invoice for this payment that can be paid via bank transfer. So this is an offline. It's essentially a manual payment or an offline payment method that people can use with you. So, I mean, there's a variety of use cases for this. It might be that you're a service provider and you don't like paying Stripe fees and you just want to send out an invoice. You can't integrate Go Cardless at the moment. So, an invoice and a bank transfer is going to save you that 2.5 or 2.3%, whatever your rate is. It might be that you're doing physical products. Maybe you're some kind of have some kind of product that gets delivered, and maybe you'll accept cash on delivery. So you could set that up in here. So maybe it's for a meeting or something that they're going to be at a physical location with you, and you can take cash then, or a check, or maybe you'll take a card payment at that point. Whatever it is, whatever the reason, you can set up these manual payment options. And once you know where they are, it makes a lot of sense. But initially, it doesn't make a great deal of sense, because it's not. If you think about it, it's not technically a payment integration, is it? It's an option. So you would typically first look for this when you're setting up your order form in your page builder, and you can't find it there. But it is under, if you go to payments, and then we go to integrations, you can see, if we just scroll down here, I mean, there's so many more integrations available. You can integrate with almost any of your preferred suppliers, to be brutally honest. But if we just scroll down and we go to manual payment method and we click connect here, then we're brought to this screen. So we can set up cash on delivery. That works really easily. So then you would just put in your payment instructions, and you would put in your message, and then how do you want this to be used? Can it be used on surveys? Can it be used on forms? Can it be used in your e-commerce store? Can it be order forms? So you would just tick which ones are appropriate. So maybe it's not those three. Maybe it's just your e-commerce store where you're going to be delivering the product yourself. Maybe it's only on order forms, whatever suits your use case, but that is super easy to set up. Now, the payment instruction is what appears on the form when they choose that option. So if I go back to online, you can see here it says request an invoice. And so this is my payment instruction. So what would be your payment instruction? Please have exact change ready for the courier, or whatever you would prefer it to be. If you didn't want to set up cash on delivery, you can set up a custom payment method. So you need to give it a name. You can see here I said request an invoice. If you wanted to, I mean, I have seen examples of this where the purchaser, the person buying, was purchasing from a business advisor, and they offered a 10% discount if they paid the full 6 months by bank transfer. So here it was save 10%. I think it was save 10% today. And then you just put in the details that you want here. So request an invoice to pay the full 6 months and receive a 10% discount. That's pretty clear. And then the message that comes after that would be something like, we will send your invoice to the supplied email address. Please forward remittance advice once paid. There you go. And that's really succinct. Really, that captures all the information. There's no open loops there. The person knows exactly what's going to happen. They're going to receive an invoice to the email address they put in. That's pretty clear. And they know they're going to save 10%. So, I mean, over here, all I've put is request an invoice, and then we'll send the invoice out so you can pay via bank transfer. But you could put something like that if you wanted to. It might just be pay by check. And then you have the instructions on how they can pay by check. So what is the manual? Is there a use case for you where you would take a manual payment method? And if so, what's the process that you would go about doing that? So that's how you would capture that information, and then how you would set it up. Now, one thing to be aware of is if we enable this for order forms, for example, it's going to show up on every order form that isn't a subscription. Okay. So you can see here, this isn't a subscription. This is a one-time payment. But if I didn't want them to be able to request an invoice, I would have to come in here and I would have to disable that. Otherwise, it will appear on every order form that you have. And likewise, it would appear on every survey or every form or every e-commerce store as a payment option. So just something to be aware of there. But I mean, it is a really good idea. Most of my clients have absolutely no use case for this. I can only think of a handful that do, but they like it. And it is one of those things that you don't actually think about because we're also focused on online and the ease of that and the speed of that. But because you have to create these experiences, these order forms for your user, for your end user, for your client, for your leads, for your audience, perhaps a manual payment method is appropriate for them. Perhaps that's the thing that they want. So have a think about that and have a think about whether or not it is something that you would like to use moving forward for your business. All right. Join me tomorrow. I'm going to talk about another, kind of lesser known, hard to find feature and we'll be talking about those for a couple of days. And